Welcome to the Linguistics Show, where we talk about life, love, and everything else. There's always something to talk about with this couple, so you never know what may come out of their mouth.
Welcome back to the Linguistics Show. I'm Carol, here with my awesome co-host,
Jason.
And so today we're talking about things that have influenced us, things from the culture, things from the world. So we're talking about music, talking about movies, talking about TV shows.
So I guess that's specifically pop culture influences, the pop culture influences that have made us who we are today.
Okay, pop culture. Now,
I mean, you're talking about things from around the world.
Yeah.
We're not talking about geography or our favorite international soccer clubs or,
Okay, yes, you're right.
You know, we're not talking about that.
Pop culture. And speaking of pop culture, I am proud to say I'm 41. However, I did not know what pop culture was derived from until I was in my late 30s.
Well, where was pop culture derived from?
I didn't know that it was for popular. I thought it was like pop music, pop culture, and I don't like pop music, so I thought I didn't like pop culture.
So you just thought it was just pop, like soda pop? Like popcorn? What do you mean? You didn't know it was pop?
For things I'll be interested in.
Popular?
So now I didn't know what it was.
Oh my God. Didn't know it was popular. Well, yes, pop culture, the type of things that influenced us, and those of y'all who do know us, those of us who know us, I mean the two of us would know us, but those of y'all who know us would know that based on who we are by our age, where we grew up, you might have a little inclination into what kind of pop culture influences you think that we have, but you may be surprised by what you hear. So, talking specifically about our favorite TV shows, our favorite music, our favorite movies.
Jason is Mr. Movie Man, so
Mr. Movie Man. Ew.
I was not trying to do that with alliteration, and I do like
Mr. Movie Man.
and
Alliteration.
so he'll have all kinds of great movies that have helped to make him who he is, or maybe things that he can relate to in movies. So I'll let you go first with your movies.
My movies. Okay, so let's see. So we're talking what? Like my top three, my top five, top three.
We can do top five.
Top five. The top five movies that I would say are my favorite or have most influenced me. The ones that are most, because they're different.
Well, for me, my list is a mix of both. So my list may be different.
I would definitely say that the movies that influenced me are not necessarily my favorite movies. Movie that's silly like Step Brothers or something like that, or like Old School. That never influenced me ever in my life, but it's one of my favorite movies. You get what I'm saying?
I do understand the difference.
Okay, so movies that have influenced me. Okay, so I would say, in no particular order, these are not in any particular order whatsoever. I would say my first one would have been New Jack City.
Okay.
New Jack City was influential for me, that's for sure. As far as just, that was the time when I was coming of age as a teenager. So that whole era of the late 80s New Jack Swing.
You were like 11.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like that's when that's when actual music and culture mattered to me now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You're 10, 11 years old, that's when it matters. So yeah, New Jack Swing was a really big movie for me. It was set in New York, so obviously we were from the East Coast. We weren't from New York. We were from the East Coast, so it was semi-relevant to see dudes riding around in Jeeps and stuff like that, and the big gold chains and all of that, the sweatsuits and the Kangos, if you remember. And then it was also a story about a dude and his brother. And I had a brother, so it was kind of an influential movie for me. So that's one of them. So what, are we going to go back and forth, or I got to do all of mine? I'm going to do all of mine.
Okay.
All right, so I do all of mine.
I'm ready.
Oh.
But you can do yours.
She said I'm ready. All right. You got it.
So you want me to go next?
All right, no, I don't.
Okay.
So then my next one for movies that have been influential.
Or your favorites.
We're not talking about my favorites. We're talking about movies
Okay.
that were influential, that helped me be the person that I am today.
Okay.
Right? So Lean on Me is definitely in that realm.
That's a great movie.
Lean on Me definitely helped me to become the person I am today. It just I don't even really know why, because none of the schools I went to were like that.
You didn't want to have
I didn't want to have to deal with Mr. Clark, I guess. Right. I don't know. I guess it was just like, I mean, I knew other kids who went to bad schools or whatever. And I don't know. I guess it was just another one of those coming of age kind of movies where it was just like you could see that even in the worst kind of scenarios, if you just get disciplined and do things the right kind of way, that it could, turn around in your favor. That you could turn around a really bad situation and make it work in your favor. So
that's a really good message. Good point.
Yeah, it kind of is. All right, so then another one that was really a really influential movie for me. This one's gonna sound funny. Smokey and the Bandit.
Okay, now that starred.
No.
I know who it is.
No.
Clint Eastwood, right?
No.
Oh, who was?
Burt Reynolds.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
So yeah, Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah, because Smokey and the Bandit. I love cars. Anybody who knows me loves cars. I love cars, and it was a fun movie. All the cars in the movie were amazing. The entire movie is basically a long ass car chase, and so outside of the cars itself, nothing in the movie is relevant to me whatsoever. But again, thinking about my age at the time, and that was something that used to come on TV a lot during the 80s, and I would see that movie all the time. Yeah, that was the movie for me. That was my jam. Loving to see all the cars. So I gave you what, 3 now?
That was 3.
That was 3.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Number 4, Juice.
Okay.
Juice. Yeah, Juice. Definitely Juice. Juice is one of my favorite movies of all time. Tupac had an amazing role in that movie. Amazing role. The incomparable Omar Epps, also known as Coach Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, was in that movie. So just in case you didn't know that,
okay, Mike Tomlin.
That Mike Tomlin used to also Mike Tomlin used to also be a DJ. He used to also be a DJ in New York back in the day. In case you didn't know, it was DJ GQ. There was a cameo by matter of fact, this movie's full of cameos. There's a cameo by Samuel L. Jackson. There's a cameo by the girl from En Vogue. There's this movie's full of tons of cameos. Great movie, great soundtrack, one of the best soundtracks ever as far as the early hip hop movies were concerned. That late 80s, early 90s sound,
right.
That New York sound. It was just dope. It was so good. Yeah, I love that movie. It was a tragic movie, but I love the movie itself. The way it was shot, even the cinematography was amazing. And now this is where I always struggle whenever you try to give me a list of something I like, because I got to narrow it down, and I like 17,000 movies, man.
That's why
so
it makes it so
hard. It makes it really difficult. Wow. And every single time I watch it, I still get emotional when I watch it. It's Friday Night Lights.
Okay.
I get you Friday Night Lights. Because every single time I watch it, I remember what it was like in high school playing football. Mm-hmm. And I remember when, you played your last game. I remember that. And I remember all of the characters that are kind of in that movie are kind of remind me of characters that I knew. Mm-hmm. And it's another one of those movies where, of course, they're triumphant over insurmountable odds. But actually in this one, they don't make it. And it kind of is an unhappy ending. The big star doesn't make it. He blows out his knee and he doesn't go to college. The team makes it all the way to the championship game and they lose. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys, if you never saw Friday Night Lights. Sorry, you should have seen it by. You should have seen it by now. Gosh darn it.
Okay.
And I mean the movie, not the TV show. I never really watched a TV show ever. I don't know nothing about the Friday Night Lights TV show. Not at all. No. Yeah. So yeah, that would be my top 5 movies that were influential on me as a person, I would throw a bonus one in there and probably say Black Panther.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a great one.
I would say Black Panthers. Actually, I'll give you two bonuses: Black Panther, and then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. For both the same reason, and that's representation.
Okay, that's a cool
representation. Having main characters and really the entire movie really be people of color in a major role that was important to everyone across the world, not just important to us. You know, so Black Panther was just really, really important. Mm-hmm. And then much more specific and much more micro to who I am as a person was Miles Morales.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big deal to see an Afro-Latino superhero, not just in a comic book, but to see him on the screen. And you know, when we went to go see that movie, remember we came a little bit late, but when we came in, Biggie was playing, and I was like, oh my God, like this is a good movie already. This is a good movie. And I got to thinking about it. I was like, yo, like representation matters. It matters. Like this whole drama about Little Mermaid right now. Mm-hmm. Representation matters, yo. It really does. And so me being 43 years old and never even really being able to say, yo, there's specifically an Afro-Latino biracial superhero who grew up on the East Coast, in an apartment with a black dad and a Latino mom.
Yeah, there's definitely a whole lot that is like how you grew up. So I definitely understand and see like why. Like why that resonates with you more than just it being Spider-Man, because I had never seen Spider-Man in theaters until that. I was like, sure, I'll go because of the representation that it was showing. But I enjoyed it too.
So yeah, those would be my influential movies. Not my favorites. Just movies that were influential. Because if I was going to tell you my favorites, it would be a whole bunch of Will Ferrell stuff. It would be all 3 Friday movies.
Okay.
Probably Breaking.
Oh yeah, from the 80s.
Just it would probably be Disorderlies. Remember that movie with the fat boys?
It would be
like, yes, like that's what I'm saying. Like if I was going to tell you my favorites, it would be a whole bunch of foolishness. But if I'm talking about what my actual like are influential to who I am as a person, it would be those.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and do my top 5, which is, for me, it's a mix of influential and favorites because they both to me are intertwined. Mm-hmm. And so mine is in no particular order as well. So in Titanic, I love Titanic.
No, I know why you love Titanic, because you're dramatic. And that's like the most dramatic, long, drawn out.
And I was gonna say, because even that was super duper long. Had so many moments I just cried tears of just sadness and like, oh my gosh, they've conquered things. They weren't like warriors, but it gave me a lot of emotion. So I love Titanic. I will still watch it, the whole thing. Even if I watch it alone, I'd be okay watching it by myself. So Titanic, you already know the next one, Soul Food, because I can watch that over and over again.
She does watch it over and over again.
I don't anymore. So I definitely love the movie Soul Food. And like what Jason was talking about, like how some movies are a TV show later. So the Soul Food TV show, not a fan. Mm-mm. I saw a few episodes. I was not feeling it.
Nah, not at all.
So like the actual movie, loved the movie. And it just has a really good message that just reminds me of my childhood. So like we didn't have a big mama or the grandma who was like right in the area. My big mama per se lived about 3.5 hours away, but I have so many memories of having those big family dinners with her and my granddad. I'm back when he was alive. That just has me think of those family moments and bonds that will stick with you for a whole lifetime. Mm-hmm. So absolutely love Soul Food. So that's Titanic, Soul Food. Next one, Roll Bounce. Because I love music. I've loved 70s music since I was probably maybe in middle school. And so my dad used to be a DJ. It wasn't his main job when I was growing up, but he did do DJing at parties and clubs even back before I was born. So Big Bill, the Driving Wheel, definitely, that was his super long DJ name. So Big Bill, the Driving Wheel, definitely had a major influence on me in terms of music, but also skating, because he still is at his age an amazing skater. And so growing up, he liked to show off all his moves at the skating rink. And so I didn't quite understand, the whole importance of like when you're older to still do things that you love, because he was in his 40s and 30s back then, and I was in middle school and elementary and high school. And so I'd be embarrassed, of course, by him doing all his fancy, cool moves. But as I got older, I realized that, hey, it's really important that parents do things that make them happy still, whether their kids are younger or not. So you got Titanic, Soul Food, Roll Bounce. Okay, this Christmas, I could watch it whether it's Christmas time or not, because I am a huge fan of Loretta Devine. So I love her in TV shows and movies. This Christmas, again, because I love family, I love bonding, I need one more. So it's got to be Drumline.
Oh my gosh.
And even though I didn't go to a high school or college that was, a Black-centric HBCU, predominantly Black kind of environment, my mom did, my dad did, my aunts and uncles, they all went to either HBCUs for college, which are, for those who don't know, a historically Black college and university, or they went to a majority Black or all Black high school. And so those kinds of drumline moments, I remember many, many times like going to my mom's high school homecoming. Shout out to I.C. Newcomb High School in Portsmouth, Virginia. But they always had an amazing band because that's what they do. And so I just wanted to not experience that in college, but I wanted to just live through that through drumline. So that's my top 5 movies.
Okay, and I find it interesting that a lot of your movies really do kind of center on the same kind of things. They center on family, and then they also tend to center on music.
Okay, you're right. There is a theme, because I do love family and I do love music. So yeah, there is a theme. That
makes me think about, the next type of thing that kind of really shapes who we are. Both of us are music lovers. We both love live music. We both love recorded music. We both love going to shows. We both love listening to music on the radio, singing, dancing, talking about music, like all of that kind of stuff. Just having Alexa in the house, for example, is just like,
yeah, that's been a game changer.
You have no idea how often just I just want to hear this random song just now. And I think it's really been influential on our children as well. As I think one of the most proudest things that I can say as a father is that my oldest daughter has a profound love of 90s hip hop. And that is one of the most proud things I can say as a father. More than anything else is like, yeah, I did something right, because my daughter knows hip hop. But anyway, speaking of music, what would you say has been the music has been most influential on you then?
That's a great question, because I have so many songs and artists that like resonate with me and have influenced me at various parts of my life. But my select 5 as far as artists. Okay, so are we doing artists or songs? Or does it matter?
How do you want to do it? Because I could say artists, I could say songs, I could say albums. But here's the thing, is like some artists have longevity. So you could say an artist, but maybe they're not influential in your life anymore. In fact, they're the opposite of influential in your life now, even though they're still relevant as they were back then. Like I could name one artist in particular that his album was definitely relevant for me when in 1994.
And that's fine too.
But ever since 1998, he's no longer relevant at all, other than a pop culture icon, just something that you see on TV and you laugh. You know what I mean?
You can still mention Biggie.
So that's what I'm trying to say is that, like, no, I'm not talking about Biggie.
Who you talking about?
Snoop.
Oh, okay. Let's.
Like,
okay,
I could say that. I could say that
let's
Doggy Style was a great influential album, but like, other than just being the main character doing all the side quests of life, what else is Snoop doing right now? That you know what I mean? He's doing it. He's everything though.
So
he's really accomplishing, man.
Let's save that for the actual recording. But with music, I'm gonna do my top 5 artists and songs, because some of the songs would obviously be by the artist. And I don't mean Prince, the artist. So this is, of course, in no order. And so these songs didn't really, I guess, shape me, by every single song, but they definitely were a great part of my either youth or my adulthood. But I will put out this disclaimer that I realized once we had children, that I should not have been listening to a lot of the music that I listen to, because we have kids who are in elementary, middle, and high school. And so for our youngest, there is no way that if she were like my age back then, that I would even allow some things to even be played around her. But different.
I hear what you're saying, Jodeci.
Different times, yes.
Adina Howard, I hear y'all out here.
Yes. Other songs and artists I should not have been knowing all the words to. But anyhow, so a couple of my favorites artists, I would say. Definitely Escape, SWV, Faith, Mary J. Blige, obviously. And I guess I'll say Jodeci. I mean, there were so many more. And so,
ooh, yeah. Jodeci.
And so I picked those 5 because, number one, I love music, and I was thriving with my music in the 90s. It's still am right now, but I definitely liked a lot of their songs. And so I've been able to actually see all of those artists in concert except for Jodeci. So if there's ever a Jodeci reunion again that comes to DC, Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, they wouldn't be in Delaware.
Anywhere in the vicinity?
Yes.
Why wouldn't they come to Delaware?
That's too small of a state. No one's going to be doing concert in Delaware.
No one does concerts in Delaware?
Maybe like at a college campus.
You're just losing whole listeners right and left. Don't nobody do concerts in Delaware. What?
I'm from Delaware. I don't want to listen to your podcast anymore.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's your 5 artists, not your 5 albums or songs.
I can't even give you albums because I would not know or remember what every single album was that had all these amazing songs that I like.
No, I can dig that. I dig that. All right.
But I will do my songs real quick though, because
Go for it.
I can't just exclude some of the songs because some of the artists were not on my artist list, but the songs. Mm-hmm. You probably already know what's gonna be one of them. Candy Rain. Mm-hmm. Because even though in the Soul for Real, they were, I guess, bubblegum pop, as people would say back then.
What's pop though?
That exactly.
So you just thought it was because it was a bubblegum, that's why it's pop? Like,
no.
What's pop mean? Popular.
Anyhow. I don't know why it's called bubblegum popular, but so definitely Candy Rain. And I'm going to say any song by SWV. And too bad I don't have the whole kind of like musical, lyrical vibes, because I would give y'all some notes. But if I did, it would actually terrify y'all, like how it was the word from last week's episode.
Terrify.
I would terrify people when I sing.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so that's a bit of my musical interest. What about you?
All right, so
That was really loud. Okay. Cackle.
this one. All right, so 5 different musical influences on my life. So, I'm a pretty old guy. I've been alive for a while, 43 years old. So I could say that there's been quite a bit of different influences on my life. So I would say the first thing that I could remember that, again, was an influence on my life, music that I could remember, that I really, really remember, was obviously Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And so when I was young, I wasn't cognizant of there being a differentiation between the Off the Wall and Thriller album. I just knew that was all the good Michael Jackson
Right.
stuff. So that kind of shaped my thought of what music was. You know, it was upbeat. It was, it was soulful. It was kind of funky. You know what I mean? We all know who Mike was back then. Mike had OG Mike back in the day. Those 2 albums in particular, you could definitely say were R&B albums. Like, that was Mike. Thriller a little bit less, but Off the Wall was definitely like an R&B album. So that would be who I would say would really be my first influence as far as music was concerned. The second thing I could really remember was kind of like the birth of hip hop, and I can't say that any of the original old style artists were really influential on me because, to be fair, I wasn't even really allowed to listen to any of that stuff. So unlike Carol, I did have boundaries on what I was allowed to listen to and not. And so I had to like sneak and buy tapes and stuff like that and copy tapes from other people. And so I guess I would say the first like real hip hop album that I had, that I could really remember it being like, oh my gosh, that was a big deal, was Rakim. I had Rakim back in the day. I had Paid in Full.
Okay.
And so that album was influential on me because it was also, Rakim was the first person who just had a different kind of flow. He was much more lyrical. It felt like the beat was chasing him instead of him chasing the beat. And it was just like, it just was a totally different sound, and I was here for it. Definitely was here for it. The third thing I could say that was influential would be when I kind of got to middle school, to the end of middle school, and I guess I kind of started to realize, my place in society a little bit more so, when you kind of realize you have that talk with your parents, and you kind of realize what's going on. And I also remember that this time was coinciding with a lot of the stuff that was going on in the world, and including apartheid, including Rodney King, including the OJ thing. All of this type of stuff was kind of happening when we were in middle school and early in high school, right? So the Fear of the Black Planet album by Public Enemy was very, very influential. Very, very influential. And to be fair, in retrospect, the music itself holds up. The lyrical content doesn't. Take that back. The content holds up. The delivery does not. Like, Chuck D is not a great lyricist, but the content was there. The music is excellent. You know what I mean? And then, like, those would be what I would say are like influential on who I was. And then after that, it was just like the stuff that kind of influenced me to be the adult that I am. And so, obviously, Notorious B.I.G., that Ready to Die album, and then also the the Life After Death album, both of them, because it came back to back,
Right.
and that was it. But it was like all the greatest stuff that you could have ever heard. It was just like music, pop culture, fashion, everything boiled into one. It was awesome. Great lyrical delivery. Puffy was a genius with the beats. All of it. Like, it was just great. And so I even still listen to either of those albums to this day. I still listen to them all the time. And I guess and see, this is again where I get to that tough one, when I get to like my fifth slot. And it's like, bro, there's way too many things for me to say that were really actually influential on me. And so if I was going to say something that was influential on me, an album that came out, wow, this is tough. This is so tough. Because if I really want to think about something that was influential and shaped who I was as a person, I would probably have to say 36 Chambers. Wu-Tang Clan, 36 Chambers. Because when that album came out, it was different than everything else. It was really just about lyrical content. It was about freestyling, basically. It was about hip-hop in its most, like, purest form. And then it had a million dudes were in the group, and all of them had their own style. And so that was really influential on me because of the slang, the feeling. You didn't have to be like a gangster rapper, you didn't have to be like a drug dealer or nothing like that to have a dope album. Like, you could put something out. It was talking about kung fu movies and stuff like that, and it still be awesome. And so yeah, that one definitely had a big influence on me. And then honorable mention, All Eyes on Me. Gotta be that. Come on, Tupac. How you gonna just put out a double album? How you just gonna put out a double album after you just put out an album literally the earlier that year? You put out a double album and the entire double album is no skips. Like, come on. Oh my goodness. And then, Tupac wasn't the greatest rapper ever, but he definitely was a great performer. And he definitely was a powerful, influential artist, that's for sure. So give him his props. Tupac is on the same level as Bob Marley from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. As like a cultural
icon.
Yeah.
Like, Tupac is more of a cultural icon than a great rapper.
I feel you on that. And so, like, you gave some really good albums, and that actually had me thinking of, I could give you a few albums, because I was like, oh yeah, I do know some albums that were just wonderful to me. And so the number one would be The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
By far and away, that's a classic.
Hands down, yes. To me, like that. So that to me is the best album ever. I loved every single song on that album, and we did try to see her in concert twice, but it didn't work out due to cancellations last year and this year. So
come on, Boogie, stop faking on these DC legs of these tours, man.
It was the whole thing. So
okay, never mind. Stop faking on the whole tour then. My bad.
As Jason was saying earlier in the episode, our oldest daughter really has a knack and love for 90s music, and she is a huge fan of Lauryn Hill. And so, unfortunately, we could not take her because the shows were canceled. But she was looking forward to seeing one of her favorite 90s artists in person. So maybe in the future that could work out. Who knows? So definitely Lauryn Hill, and also like a lot of Mary J's albums. So
My Life.
Yes, that
My Life
was a significant album, because that came out, I think, when I was a college freshman or sophomore. And so even though it was a little bit, My Life came out, I think I was a freshman.
And My Life was Mary J's first album, baby. That came out.
That was What's the 411?
No, What's the 411 was her first album.
Yeah.
My Life, I feel like was like, no, you might be right though. I keep forgetting I'm 2 years older than you.
Because I remember how there were some songs that were sad, but yet had like a real life kind of effect on me. And so I was either a freshman or sophomore in college. So those albums are awesome. But we're gonna wrap it up and conclude it with the TV shows. And there are so many, of course, songs, albums, and movies that we love and have influenced us, or that are wonderful, that we can't even name because there are just so many. So this list is in no way representing every single thing that we feel and think, because that would be too many to name.
It would be way too many to name.
So what are some of your favorite TV shows or things that maybe stand out to you
many.
still? And
There's so
we're gonna have some of the
many
same
because
ones in
we're
this.
these 80s babies. We were raised on TV. Like there's so many. So, from being a youngin', the one that I remember when I was a youngin' that was a big deal to me was excuse me, was Jefferson's.
That's
So
a good one.
Jefferson's was a big deal to me because I remember there being a bunch of shows. Like, so when I was a kid, my favorite show was Different Strokes, obviously.
Okay.
What you talk about, Willie? Like, of course, that was my favorite show because Arnold was acting up,
It
and
was
of
that
course,
face he used to make.
because as a little black boy, you wanted to be in a rich penthouse and act
Right.
up too, just like Arnold. You wanted to act up. So of course, that was my favorite show when I was a kid. But in actuality, when I look back, what was really influential on me was Jefferson's, because Jefferson's had a mostly African American cast. Even though George was a jerk and he was kind of off the chain, he was a successful businessman. He owned his own business. He did have his luxury apartment in the sky, like the
Right.
song said. Him and Wheezy had a housekeeper and all that. They had a doorman. They had all that. They had their kids had apartments in the same building because George was balling like that. Like George and Wheezy would be walking around in minks, and you know what I mean. He had his limo. Like George was a baller before that was even really a thing. Before any of us knew of that kind of a thing in pop culture. George Jefferson was a baller. So yeah, like I definitely would say the Jeffersons. The second one, then, kind of in the same light, would have been the Cosby Show.
Definitely.
Because
that's a winner.
again, the Cosby Show was the first thing that I saw that showed that like you can have a normal black family. Like black families don't have to be all discombobulated, broken families. Like that's not the norm. The norm, if you contrary to popular belief, the norm is actually normal families.
Right.
You might, if you listen to popular culture, if you listen to social media and the TV and everything like that, they'll have you believing that the whole world is full of broken homes, but it's not. Like the truth is, there's more black dads at home than you think. And so Cosby Show showed me that you could have a successful family, you could have a successful wife, you could have a successful husband, both be successful at their careers. Your kids could be successful. They might not all get it at the same time, like Denise.
Right.
They might not all get it at the same time, like Theo. But, they can't all be Sandras.
Right.
They can't all be Sandras. And so, like that's important. It showed me that, like what a big family could be like, because I didn't really have a big family like that. So those two were really, really influential on me when I was growing up. That's for sure. And so then, as I started to get a little bit older, one person who was on TV a lot back in the day, he was on TV and on movies a lot back in the day, a DMV native, Prince George's County native, ended up being one of the most influential people in my life as far as almost like I think about the way I talk, the way I dress, the same damn haircuts I be getting. And that's Martin Lawrence.
Right.
And that's Martin Lawrence. And so first it was Def Comedy Jam. Now you got to understand, for somebody growing up in the 80s, when I finally would be at my grandma's house and sneak up and watch Def Comedy Jam with my uncle. Oh man, like yes indeed. That was the culture. That was the culture right there in your face. Like unadulterated, filtered, uncensored culture right there. The music, the language, the comedy, everybody, and all the greatest comedians were on Def Comedy Jam, and I saw all of those episodes when they first came on. Then I had them on a tape. I remember. Now for y'all, you're gonna be like, on a tape? What that mean? What do you mean you had them on a tape? I'm saying that I had a VHS tape. What's a VHS tape? I recorded the shows, not on DVR, on an actual tape. And I had a tape that had like 3 seasons worth of Def Comedy Jams back to back to back. That tape would be worth $1 billion right now if I had it. Oh my goodness. But yes, Def Comedy Jam. And so, for those who didn't know about Def Comedy Jam, Martin was the host on Def Comedy Jam. And one of the things that the person who funded all that thing was Russell Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And so he'd come out every night and say, and this is why I say this a lot and on the show and on other things, be like, thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night. Like I say that all the time. So it's just really influential on me. Like I said, my whole thought on comedy and my sense of humor and everything like that. But then Martin came out with the show.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Martin show literally is, like, to this day, the funniest thing that I have ever experienced in my entire life. Martin embodied our whole, like, fashion sense, our sense of humor, the way we talk, the way me and my boys joan on each other back and forth. We, like, everything, the way that I flirt with my baby, like, all of it. Like, it literally comes from Martin. Like, I sit and think about it. It's like, dang, man, maybe I am, like, too much like this dude. Maybe maybe he was too influential on me as a preteen teenager. But for what it's worth, the very last episode of Martin was the day of our prom. And we were late getting to prom because we watched the last episode of Martin.
Because there was no such thing back then, of course, of DVR and all that. It was either you record it on VHS or you just hope and just pray for a repeat over the summer, and you may not even get the episode. So
right,
if you didn't catch it when it came on, you're kind of out of luck.
Right. And so my last one, the last show that I would say that is the most influential on who I am as a person, I would probably have to say In Living Color.
Mm-hmm. That was on my list.
I have to say In Living Color. It's a sketch comedy show, obviously, so it's not like there was any structure or anything like that made you, like, remember anything. It was just the different personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the expression of culture. They had a musical guest every episode. Right. They had the fly girls dancing. So
every girl wanted to be a fly girl. Every girl wanted to learn to dance so they can do it. But next day, well, on the Monday, to do it during school.
So like I'm saying, just influence. Like if you really think about that back then, and this is a time where I think a lot of people who are younger than us take for granted that hip hop culture is mainstream culture. Back then it was not mainstream culture. Like back then, like I remember even getting in trouble for having braids, like stuff like that. Like yo, it was not mainstream culture. And so like having a show that was on TV that, you know, everybody dressed like us, talked like us. They had jokes that were like stuff that we related to. The fly girls, like you were mentioning, like all of that, the musical guests. It was, and then to be extremely culturally diverse, because think about all the people that came from that.
Right, I was thinking the same.
All the different people from different cultural backgrounds that came from that show, not just them Wayneses.
Yeah,
not just them Wayneses and Tommy Davidson. Yeah, like they like Rosie Perez,
of course J-Lo, yeah,
Jennifer Lopez, Jim Carrey, like all of these people that came from that show, and so yeah, that one was definitely a big one for me. So yeah, shout out to Living Color, and them Waynes is getting that money. Them Waynes is
yeah, I mean, in like back then, who would have thought, you know, that the Keenan Ivory Waynes would have, I guess, had such a huge influence, because like, back when the show got started, he was just some regular guy like trying to break into the whole sketch comedy world, and like people didn't think that was gonna like like churn out so many people who have just been like really, really famous in their own right. So like that was a huge show that, like, looking back, that was a major influence on all kinds of parts of our culture nowadays. And so that was on my list, In Living Color. So I won't use that. But in the same vein of Wayne's Brothers, so it's one of my favorite shows. Is the
Wayne's Brothers?
Yeah, it's Wayne's Brothers, and so
we're happy and we're singing
and we're colored. Do. So give me a high five. He left me hanging, but then so Jason left me hanging just now. But he gave the intro just now, and then when you get the whole beat with Tribe Called Quest, So I love the intro, but that's not why that's on my list because of the intro. The show was hilarious to me. It was corny at times, but I could watch Wayne's Brothers on repeat for like days without even getting bored. So we got Wayne's Brothers, we got Living Single.
Oh, yes. How could I forget Living
Because
Single, man?
And I can't
How
sing,
could I
so can't
forget?
even
How
do
could
the
I
words.
forget the show that spawned Friends?
Oh yeah. So okay, so Jason has said this before, which I didn't think about this until I think you told me this last year or this year, that I didn't think about that until you brought it up, and I was like, dang, there are many similarities between the Friends characters and then
The Living Single characters.
yeah, ones I'm living single. So I had never seen Friends until I was a college freshman because my roommate liked to watch Friends, so I would watch it with her occasionally. I'm like, oh, this show was actually kind of okay. So, so we got Living Single, we got Wayne's Brothers, of course, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but we call it Fresh Prince.
Yeah, and I was trying to avoid that, but
Oh,
I
why?
got because
Why would
it's
you
just
wanna-
because it's too easy. It
But it
wasn't.
was a great
I wouldn't say it
show.
was influential on me.
Well, I'm
though.
doing favorites and influence. I'm doing both. But that was a great show, though.
It was a great show.
So, and then going back to the late '80s and part up in '90s, it's Family Matters.
Oh,
because it came on Friday nights. It was part of the whole
TGIF.
if TGIF on ABC, which came on 7 for most people. So like that was like a whole Friday night family evening because it was Family Matters followed by Step. But as I got older, I realized that having a black show that was the lead-in for a white show was not how things normally were back then.
Right.
Because like normally it would just be black shows on one night, non-black shows every other night. But then like this whole lineup on Friday nights, black show, white show, followed by 2 other shows. I don't know what they were. I forgot what they were because they weren't. I guess they weren't that popular.
Gosh.
So we got those 3. I also like Blossom a whole lot.
There's nothing wrong with that. Blossom was a good show.
Blossom.
I like 6. So
Yes, because she was an interesting character. Yes, but I do like Blossom, and so that was 3. Was that 3 or 4? That was 4. Let's give you one more. And again, this list is not all inclusive because there are so many that we can't even name because it's just be a long time naming shows. But a 5th show, Different World, because it was part of the whole Cosby brand of like really
classic.
Really showcasing that black family values are important enough to show on TV. So whether it was having the family together for the Cosby Show, or whether it was in college showing that that young black teens can go to college, they can do really good things without having to worry about doing it in a all white or majority white kind of setting. So I did not go to an HBCU. Actually was I guess now that I'm looking back, I did not want to go to one because I wanted to be different than how my parents were and my aunts and uncles. So I probably would have really enjoyed going to an HBCU for my first 4 years of college, but I did not. So there you go, Different World.
And I couldn't use that one because that one's definitely on my list
Why couldn't you use
because
that
I
one?
know it's an important show to you.
Oh.
You literally have a Hillman
Yes,
tote bag
I
and a
have a
Hillman
Hillman
t-shirt.
shirt.
Like, come on. Like, I know how important that one is to you, so I knew I couldn't use that one. But let's, like, come on. We
That's
really have to break down Different World for how
That's an
important
amazing
of a show
show.
it was. And just think about not only the characters, but the casting of said characters.
Mhm.
I actually, we were talking about Dwayne Wayne and Kadeem Hardison about a week ago, and how influential he was on me, and not just his character Dwayne Wayne on Different World, but if you think about it, his character on School Days, his character on White Men Can't Jump, his character was always that funny guy that had the jokes and always had the cool Jordans. Like, that was who Kadeem Hardison was. He always made it seem like it was okay to be smart and funny, and still you could be stylish. You didn't have to be a thug,
Right.
and you could still be cool. I mean, you had think just all of the different characters. You had Denise, who came from Cosby Show, so of course she came and she was the ditzy one who didn't have it together and had to figure it out. You had Whitley,
and that's how it be sometimes.
Right.
You don't always know what you're going to do when you get to college, and college is not for everyone. And if it is for you, that's wonderful. But if not, it's okay too.
You had Whitley, bougie self,
aka Angie.
aka
She's little Whitley.
Like, yo, like the show, like the casting was just so perfect. All of the characters were perfect. And I mean, Jaleesa's character was awesome. Like the more and more I think about it, like every single character, Ron's character was awesome. Every character you bring up, Freddie.
I just like how the characters have evolved from season 1 and 2, like through the whole end of the season. Plus, like when they had finished college, they graduated. Some of them went off, to law school. You have Kim, who went to medical school to be a doctor. You got Whitley, who was
both Whitley and Dwayne end up working for the school though.
Yeah. So,
they end up being like Dwayne was a professor. Like they both end up working for the school.
Yep. So you're right. Yep. So you got Dwayne, who was teaching gay back. You got Whitley, who was a resident assistant, or she gave back that way. And so like that just showed me that like college can help you evolve in so many ways that when you start, you may not have known like what you're going to end up doing that once you were done.
Right.
So I really have enjoyed just talking about these things that have helped shape us, and like some of them may have made us laugh, may have made us really think about like certain things that that were moments growing up. But I really did enjoy talking about our TV shows,
pop
music.
culture. Because what's pop culture from?
Popular culture.
So wow. Popular culture.
So now it's time for one of our new segments called Wordplay. And so we started this segment last week when Jason will choose a letter, and so will I. And we have about 45 seconds to give the definition and use it in a sentence. Will we crack under pressure? I probably will. He probably won't.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean, you give me a dumb letter, I'm in trouble.
it's your letter.
It's my letter?
Yeah, so it's your letter, and then it's me just like blindly choosing a word from the Proper Dictionary and vice versa. So like last week it was too easy. I'm like, really?
That wasn't easy.
And I had an easy one too. I'm like, this is too easy. So this time I'm going to just hope I get a harder word for you and for me too. So what's your letter? Why are my eyes closed now?
I don't even know why your eyes are closed.
I don't know. What's your letter?
What's my letter?
Yes.
O.
Oh, because I was thinking you meant like what's something else you want to say?
No.
Oh.
I just mean O.
Okay.
As in after P.
Hold on.
Or before P, actually.
Okay. So I'm
I don't
going
know
to
the
the
alphabet.
O's. Okay. This should definitely be interesting and fun for this wordplay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Your word is open.
Open. Don't front. You know I got you open. Open.
Speaking of music, okay.
To open? Like, how do you even...
That's the word I landed on.
So the opposite of close. To unclose something.
There are so many other words I could have picked.
Look,
but...
to unclose it. Like, is that the definition? To make it not closed.
Okay, that's fine.
Right. And how do I use it in a sentence?
I mean, you kind of did with
I
the song lyric.
already did. So we can open up the dictionary another time and open with a different word.
I gotta get a harder word. I think
I'm not going again. No, I did that.
No, I mean next week. Okay, so next week I'm gonna use my eyes. I'm gonna leave my eyes open and just pick a word.
Cheat and just pick something ridiculous.
Because you got an easy word last week and this week.
My fault.
Okay, come on, no limit. Okay, so my letter will be L. I would not take this L by panicking on whatever word
you about
Jason's
to
gonna pick.
As soon as I get to where they are in this daggone dictionary. Okay, here we go. And your letter. Oh, I gotta pick it, right?
Yeah, you gotta pick it.
All right. Your word.
Are you laughing because it's easier? Because I'm not gonna know what the word is.
Because you're not gonna know what the word.
I have a somewhat extensive vocabulary, not like Webster, but
Lassitude.
oh, lassitude.
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 Lassitude. Lassitude.
Right? I mean, I can probably spell it.
Lassitude.
And, okay, so I'm gonna say that this has nothing to do with like lassos and like
No, nothing to do with
nothing to do
lassos.
with like catching things.
No.
So I have to give a definition.
You sure do.
My heart is like kind of speeding up in my
If
life.
you would have said lassitude to me, I'd have been like, man, whatever, dog. You won this round. You win this round.
I have been nervous eyeballs. My eyeballs are sweating because lassitude.
My eyeballs are sweating.
Yeah, they
that just
are.
means you're crying.
Because I'm like, ah.
My eyeballs are
I've
sweating.
never heard of that word before. Okay.
Well, now you get to use it in a sentence.
My sentence is, I've never heard
The
of
word
lassitude.
Lassitude, so you don't have a definition? Do you want me to give you the definition of lassitude?
Please do, because I don't know what that word is.
Lassitude. From lassitudo. From lassus, meaning weary. Probably akin to late or late. So the first definition, a condition of weariness or debility, fatigue. Second definition, a condition of listlessness.
Oh dear.
Languor. See lethargy.
Okay, well I can definitely use that in a sentence when I'm maybe somewhere else. So that was
Lassitude.
So today, y'all, I have learned a new word, lassitude.
I ain't never using that John again, dog.
I will try to find a way to use it in my next team meeting, which will be on Thursday. So I try to find a way to use lassitude at work.
That sounds like something I would say. You just mad because you're losing. You got a lassitude.
So thanks everyone for joining us for this week's episode of The Linguistics Show. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend. Check us out on Spotify, Stitcher.
Yep.
Our website is also linked, which is linguisticshow.com.
Yep.
And we will talk to y'all next week.
Thank you for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
I was waiting for you to do that too.
If you enjoyed this, like, comment,
subscribe, and share to The
Linguistic Show.
This has been an Ashangali Enterprises production.
Co-produced by Naomi. Music by Brassville.